everyone else. You were drawn to this reading right here, right now for a reason. I do not believe in accidents. I don't believe in coincidences unless they're meaningful coincidences. Synchronicity, according to one of my personal gurus, Swiss psychoanalyst Carl Jung, one of the pioneers in the field of metaphysics, who was actually trained in psychiatry and psychology and psychoanalysis, he coined the term synchronicity and said, synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see. And why is synchronicity important? Well, it is actually one of the ways that divination actually works. It is one of, if you understand it, you understand to a large degree how divination actually works. So it's not magic. I mean, it is magic. It just depends on how you define magic. Well, the divination tools are just tools. We are the magical ones. You see what I mean? Our vibes, high vibe tribe. All right, guys. Back to clearing our minds and grounding into the eternal now, the only moment that ever exists. We connect through time and space. Taking some deep breaths, slowing down those brain waves. Focusing our attention into the reading. Your power flows where your attention goes. And with our powers combined, we can get a much more powerful and accurate and helpful, insightful reading. So again, we're just getting 3 placements for this love reading, one to represent you, one to represent your partner or prospective partner, and the last one to represent the connecting energies between the two at this time or at the time that you receive these messages. So again, my fairy themes for good luck. Blow some bubbles on that, real bubbles, along with the digital bubbles. I'm just going to put her aside. Or actually, maybe she might be helpful. I just wanted you guys to see those fairies kissing in the background. And she kind of blocks it off. Well, kind of, sort of. She might be useful. We'll see. Okay, hang on to your questions. Right after this reading, we're going to do a free Q&A. All right, I am shuffling on this side because it's just a little bit easier that way. If you are here, I believe that you were drawn to be here for a reason. And I believe if you are here watching this reading, that means there is a message for you here. So take what resonates, leave the rest. Your question may very well be answered to one degree or another, or at least you might get some insight within that is related to your question by tapping into this love reading with me. Okay? I keep them simple for a reason, so that we can really focus on each of the energies that we receive. Thank you for all of you guys being here. Okay, we have our first placement. That is represents your energy at the time you receive this message. So everyone here right now, that would be now. Thank you for the likes. Thank you so much. Thank you for the follows. Thank you, Synth. I appreciate it very, very much, because the more follows and likes I get, the more I can do this work, which is one of the reasons I was born into this world. It brings me great joy to be able to do this and help as many of you guys as possible. I call it psycho-spiritual healing because, just real quick while I'm shuffling, sometimes the card just flies out. So I like to shuffle for a little bit of time in case that happens. So, yep, hold on to those questions until after this reading. I'm going to do a Q&A. I call myself a hybrid because I'm a classical traditional therapist, as well as psychic medium, cartomancer, intuitive consultant in one. And I like to combine the best of both worlds, so to speak, in order to provide what I call psycho-spiritual healing. We don't just look into how to heal the mind. We also involve the soul, because I don't believe you can separate the two. I don't believe true healing can happen by analyzing the mental factors alone, although that is helpful. If you've ever done therapy, it absolutely is. But I like to take it, deeper by utilizing divination tools in addition within the context of traditional therapy. Okay, nothing's popping out, so I'm going to just have to pull intuitively for, oh, what was that? Yeah, I think that. Okay, so the energy of your partner or prospective partner. All right, I'm going to give this a couple minutes. In the meantime, guys, I kind of like to wait for them to fly out, because that's when they're like, all of our teams, your team is what I consider your spirit guides, angelic entities, whoever it is that's working with you, ancestors, people on the other side that are guiding you at any moment. They're all kind of here, so to speak, and helping coordinate this reading so that it applies to each of us in a macrocosmic way, and then in a microcosmic way individually. These themes that we're going to take a look at today are going to be playing out, obviously, in a personal way as well. All right. So as I shuffle and see if anything wants to pop out. Now I can't remember what I was going to actually say. Anita, yeah. So yeah, hold that question. After this reading, I'm going to hop back on for a free Q&A, okay? All right. So the fairies, they have such high frequency. They're so connected to nature. They're so, they're a great example of these invisible forces, invisible to us at least, right? That are representative of all things in nature, and the natural world, and how we are connected to all of that and our place within it. Thank you for the follow, Kingman. Thank you so much, guys. You're the best. Now, I can't remember what I was going to say. Okay, Bean, save the question for after the reading. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to define team. So, yeah, wait, no, I think I told you guys already what that is. Oh, that's right. When the card flies out as I'm shuffling it, typically I take that. That's like they really, 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 that's like the perfect card for the message. Like it could not be more accurate for what they're trying to tell us collectively. Okay, guys. All right. I'm just going to pull intuitively for that last placement, the connecting energy between you and your partner or your prospective partner. Okay. If you're here, that means either consciously or subconsciously you are thinking about love and romance, or the current state of your relationship or situationship. Everyone's got their own story line going right now, which we can dive in a little bit deeper with the Q&As. This is the energy that you, the clairant, are in within the context of this reading. All right, the devil. Everybody shudders when they see this, right? Other than experienced tarot readers, that is. Okay. So the devil energy essentially stands for all things that represent bondage, like addictions and compulsions and temptations, especially temptations, and like things that go bump in the night. No, I'm just kidding. It's essentially the shadow self. And there's one of my decks, the Witch's deck, they call it the shadow side. And we all have a shadow side, right? We all have the parts of us that, such as like maladaptive coping skills, for instance, because everything has a balance, yes? And at certain stages throughout your life, you will be in somewhat of this so-called devil energy, but all it really means is that there is bondage going on, that you are somehow bound to, in some form, you are either being tempted into something that you know is not in your best interest, or you're being held back from doing something that you know that is in your best interest. It very often represents addictions of all kinds, not just substance related addictions, but behavioral addictions, habits that you have that are not serving you anymore. It could represent toxic relationships, or being having a hard time letting go of a relationship, for instance, that you know is no longer serving either one of you, but because you've developed a sort of a, could be like a trauma bond, or something of that sort. That's an example of what that devil energy is. It's something that's holding you back from evolving spiritually and achieving what you wish to achieve for yourself, the personal evolution, the spiritual evolution, the next step, so to speak, in your ascension process as a soul. And this is a natural part of your human journey as a spirit going through the human journey. So there's nothing, it's not like every single tarot card is representing, especially the major arcana, represents an archetype of the human journey that is universal and timeless, which means that we will all, at one point or another, probably multiple times, actually, for sure, multiple times, encounter this type of energy. This reminds me of somewhat of like a eureka moment that I had as of late, where I knew, I always had this voice in my head type thing, and I attribute it to like my spirit guides. Sometimes it comes through as something that sounds like your conscience, um, something that's guiding you towards doing what's best for you and everybody around you. Some unselfish acts, for instance, so it comes off as a conscience. And then eventually I kind of came to realize that that's my team, my spirit guides, but potentially some passed on loved ones might be chiming in there, angelic entities that are helping, like Archangel Michael is a big part of one that I've always sensed as a part of my team. You'll know the more you tune into your intuition who's part of your team. And they may come and go based on where you are at and what type of help you need. But here's the thing. We all must experience this energy as we go along in our human journey, because we must also learn how to break free from it. It's essentially, you can't see it the way it's illustrated in this deck. Oh gosh, I hope TikTok doesn't see that as a boob. I never know nowadays. They've restricted the craziest things. Okay. But in the traditional tarot Rider-Waite-Smith, you'll see the shackles, this horrific looking devilish entity in the shackles. It's somewhere where you feel like you're trapped and stuck. The temptation feeling where, it's very difficult to refuse, and all of the negative emotions that come along with this experience. So the devil plays an important role. Oh, so I was going back to say, so what I've actually realized is there's not just this one voice in my head. And by voices in my head, I don't mean like the kind that is audible, that talk to you like when you're in schizophrenia, and I don't say that lightly, but you guys know the voices that are, you don't hear them the way you hear everyday communication voices. They're more like downloads. They're more like claircognizant. It's like a knowing that you come into. That's why I say by download, you just kind of, something gives you information and you just know it. I've realized there's actually two different, I'll just call them voices in my head. It's for simplicity's sake. I've realized there's actually two. And as cliche as it sounds, it kind of goes back to that concept of having the little devil on one shoulder and the little angel on the other shoulder. But those are extremes, right? Those are the extreme versions. Essentially, they're both of these aspects are you, because we within us we're in the world of duality, and we're binary beings made of both the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, the left and the right hemisphere of the brain, the heart and the mind, and all the other metaphors that go along with that. So why wouldn't we have, these two um, contrasting but equal forces that create one thing, right? The singularity is God, source, creator, and that perfection and that wholeness. But when we incarnate here in the world of duality, the earthly realm, we kind of experience our own duality at the same time. So there's the two voices, and it goes back and forth, back and forth. Like, when you can't make a decision, and there's a part of you that wants to do this and the other part of you wants to do that. So then the two so-called voices in your head start to like argue or discuss the whole situation. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but it becomes like, you talking to yourself and trying to either talk yourself out of something or into something. So it's kind of an interesting thing to see that, and it's a good reminder that this is a mind thing. This happens in the mind, and you are not your mind. You are a soul, and you're experiencing a human mind and body and all that. Okay, so being in the devil energy within the context of a romance reading, right? This could indicate several different things. One, that you are potentially being tempted. If you're in a relationship, you may be tempted to stray outside of that relationship. You may be a little bit too attached to your current partner, where it's becoming a little bit toxic. You're afraid they might leave you. You're getting maybe a little bit too controlling or paranoid. I'm just giving you guys examples of how this energy might play out within the context of a love reading, okay? So it could be that you're obsessive. Obsession is another keyword with the devil energy, that you're becoming a little bit too obsessive with the relationship. Maybe you're in fear a lot that this person might leave you. Maybe there's stuff that's been going on right now as of late that has triggered you, and you're awakening to the point, or the parts of you, the shadow parts of you that are basically related to your current partnership. You might have fear they might leave you. Maybe the relationship is not going in a good direction, and you're turning to maladaptive coping mechanisms, so temptations and like addictions of various kinds, or other negative energy, low vibrational self-soothing mechanisms, whatever that might look like. If you're single, when you're looking for love, being in this particular energy, I could say that you're maybe not coming from a place of, to me, it speaks about someone who's not necessarily serious about finding a partnership that's like, necessarily serious or long term. More like I would say like a summer fling. Maybe you're just interested in something just casual for right now. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're afraid of commitment. Maybe you're not ready for commitment. Or you are obsessing over a particular person and having to have that one person. And if it doesn't work out, you're not going to be okay. These are all just like possible interpretations of you coming up in this energy within, like I said, the context of a love reading. Okay, guys, let me know if you can't do or don't resonate. I really do love feedback, so that it helps me to, okay, hold your horses, hold your questions. We're going to do a free Q&A after this. I'll answer as many questions as I can. And also, if you book a free consultation with me, that includes a reading. So, meaning your question answered. Now, your partner or prospective partner is also we received a major arcana card for them, the Lovers, which crazily enough is like the opposite of the devil energy. So the devil energy is associated with the zodiac sign of Capricorn. And don't take that the wrong way. It doesn't mean if you're a Capricorn, then you have this negative, low vibe devil energy. Not at all. It's just, I'm not an astrologer, but it's this weird astrological thing where, I don't know if it's the horns or what, but the different cards have different associations. But it's not a bad thing. Okay, someone's inviting me to co-host meme team. I don't know. What do I do? Do I say yes? I don't think this is the right time. Maybe next time? Okay. Thank you, though, for the invitation. I just don't understand what those mean. So I don't want to interrupt our reading here because this is going really well. Okay. And the Lover's card is associated with Gemini. And so we are going into Gemini season here. We're in Taurus season going into Gemini season. And in the traditional tarot, the illustrations on the devil card is where you have the two twins of the Gemini shackled to the devil. And in the Lover's card, it's basically similar to this. Like, okay, hey Dari, I don't know what that means. Like, co-host what? My live or your live? I'll have to figure that out. Maybe you could explain it in a message, okay? All right. I have a lot to learn on TikTok. I just started like 2 or 3 months ago. So, anyway, the interpretation here is that let's say you're in a relationship. So, your current partner is in this Lover's energy. So, there's a couple of different things this could mean. Well, one, that they obviously do care about you and the relationship. See, I feel this is you. I feel this is them. Don't worry about the gender. Okay. That's completely irrelevant. It's just an illustration. Sometimes it can indicate your feminine side or your masculine side, depending on the surrounding cards or the topic of the reading, or if you feel it for yourself. But it's kind of like last place. So, this could be, if you could be the man or the woman, this could be same sex. It doesn't matter. The point is that I feel this is you and they are holding you, especially if you're in this energy. They're holding you, they're nurturing you, they're trying to kind of soothe you or calm you from whatever low vibrational stuff you might be dealing with right now. Yes, they care about you, they love you, obviously. And so, but the look on their faces, they're not so sure what choice to make at this point. And it could have to do with, let's say maybe it's an addiction or something else that you are doing or not doing that is harming you, which would be harming the relationship if you are in a partnership. So they're compassionate about it. They're trying to help you with it. But they're not sure. See what I mean? They love you. They care about you. They're not sure how to proceed. And the Lover's card is about choices. So it's about making a choice. They have a choice to make. So if you're in a relationship, they may be thinking about whether it's time to part, or in some instances, they might be thinking to take the relationship to the next level might be the right answer to cope with this potential problem that you're going through. But I think mostly it's just about the choices that you make. But this is a really nice energy, the Lovers. This is a thing where life tests people who are in a couple in a serious relationship, for example, and life is testing you and seeing what you guys do what happens? There's only three things that can happen when you're in an intimate, especially a long-term commitment. You either grow together, you grow apart, or you keep each other stagnant. And I say that pretty often, but I think it's an important thing to know. And when you grow apart, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a negative thing. It can be a natural progression where you remain amicable and friendly and, loving and caring towards each other, but you just grow apart because of you guys' life taking you in separate directions, and you've already served your karmic contracts, however that might look for you. The connecting energy is going to help us kind of understand, if this is a prospective partner, the relationship is going to hinge on the potential of the relationship working out will hinge on what happens here with your energy and how it shifts, I feel. So the potential's there. This person's going to come in and they're going to nurture you, and perhaps that healing energy will automatically, like the situation will fix itself. That's a potential. If you make the conscious choices to love yourself first, for sure. Oh, wow. We got 3 major arcana cards in this reading. Thank you for the follow, Kayla. Thank you so, so much. And anyone else who has that I've been focusing on interpreting the cards, anyone else who liked and followed, thank you, thank you, thank you a million times. I super appreciate it. And all of you guys here who's brought your vibes into our ethereal room here, I appreciate you all. This is a very powerful reading. We made it happen. Believe it or not. I can't even wrap my head around like some of these concepts of how like energy works, and these we co-create this. We're co-creating this as we speak. I gotta start a podcast and start talking about this stuff, about how divination works and how every person who is here contributing, your power goes where your power flows where your attention goes. This is how you create your reality and how we co-create our shared reality. So you just being here and observing already contributes to the creation of this reading and the way that it actually turns out and manifests, and the energies and all of it. It's just above and beyond our normal thinking ability. It's like one of those things that our brains haven't evolved to the point that we can grasp it, most of us at least. But I'm hoping we get there, soon, quickly. Wow, 3 major arcana cards, guys. I'm super overwhelmed with the vibes. What a beautiful High Priestess illustration. The High Priestess is my signature card. As a matter of fact, here, I'll just show you guys real quick. If you can see it, I wear it around my neck quite often. And it's the reason my name is Hayoka, because it's a cross between the High Priestess and the Hayoka. I've had my astrologer, who's a world-renowned astrologer that I've went to a bunch of times in my life. She's amazing. She told me the very first time she analyzed my birth chart that I've had High Priestess training in a prior lifetime. And that stuck with me because the High Priestess was already my favorite card from my very first time learning tarot, which was over 20 years ago, about 25 years ago, when I was just about 17 or 18. Okay, guys, the High Priestess is the connecting energy between you guys. This is very mystical. This is all about your intuition. This is about following how you are spiritually guided. This is like a shamanic vibe. So for the High Priestess to be applied to this love reading is, I believe this was definitely this connection. If it's something, it is a relationship you're in. This was like a pre-planned, pre-birth planning type thing, where it is a soulmate. You may have experienced other lifetimes with this soulmate who you are with or who you're thinking about, and that both of you are right now in tune with your spiritual journey. You are listening more to your intuition. You are, whether you know it or not, you are following your spirit guides. You might not realize where these downloads are coming from, but you are following them. So you're coming to knowledge, wisdom, and understanding like never before. You realize you're on a spiritual journey. You understand that everything that happens for a reason, and it's a gift to you. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you, and it's happening through you. So with our high priestess energy here, this is all about, like, see how she's got the feathers. This love reading is about a spiritual rite of passage and spiritual upgrades more so than it is about a partnership. I mean, of course, the partnership was important, but the lessons that have been learned, and I'm talking about this as a relationship that is happening or has happened already, or is recently been maybe complicated by like on and off or separation, or someone that we know what we're talking about, right? We already know who this person who is represented by this energy. This is about healing, right? You see this orb. You have learned to walk by faith and not by sight. This relationship may have been a huge part of that. So you see what I mean by how going through the devil energy? Have you guys ever heard the saying, in order to that religion is for people who want to avoid going to hell, and spirituality is for people who have already been there, or something like that? So once you overcome a double energy, especially with support of someone who truly cares and wants the best for you, you are now that much more upgraded at the soul level. And that whole fairy theme that I was talking about, that interconnectedness with nature, understanding the intrinsic value, and your intrinsic value as a soul, but as within the context of nature itself. Like, as the universe, so the soul. As the soul, so the universe. And as the universe, so the soul. Now let me simplify it a little bit as well here. So whatever secrets were kept in this partnership. Now, right now I'm still speaking about a partnership that is currently happening, or recently maybe just you're splitting up, or talking about splitting up, or in some kind of temporary situation, or back and forth. Basically somebody that you know, that you're in a partnership with, or you guys know what I mean, like have been in a partnership with up until recently, or something to that effect. There's this whatever secrets came out, in the open, that was part of your like soul contract with one another, part of what you have done for one another within that relationship. So what I'm saying is, some secrets have come out, and that might have a lot to do why you were in this energy or came into this energy. So yeah, so no more secrets. This is like, you are tuned in, you are tapped in. It's like a cleansing, it's like let's try to see the three of these together. Devil, the Lovers, and the High Priestess. So this relationship, if it's going through this difficulty now, right? there's a very good chance that it will be healed. But both partners need to be completely genuine and honest with each other, like no more secrets. Also, both parties need to be able to listen to their inner guidance, their intuition, and their, like I said, like the spirit guides, and understand that this is a journey that a soul undergoes as a human being, and that there is a reason that some of these difficulties and some of these challenges had occurred within the relationship in the first place. This could also be this inner knowing and understanding that it's time for the relationship to end, and that's okay. So this is really going to play out very different for everybody. If this is about your prospective partner or somebody that you have your eye on, I feel like you need to first heal. You need to tune into your high priestess energy. Does that make sense? Like, you need to know exactly where you're going and why you're going there. Like with the devil, if there's some, if you're like obsessed with this person or something, and or if it's an ex that you feel like you can't live without, or if you're like in this toxic energy, nothing's going to come of it until you get into this shamanic vibe here. And only then can you experience I feel like there's a lot more here, guys. I'm going to pull an oracle card from the Fairy Wisdom Oracle. Also, just take a look at, hang on one second. I feel like I need to take a look at, wow. I almost never do this, but I grabbed the book for this deck because I very rarely use the fairy deck. So I did this whole fairy theme thing. So I opened up to the High Priestess so I could see if I could get some more information on this particular High Priestess card, because I feel like it had so much to it that I wasn't able to pick up on. And it says a picture of perfect serenity. This shaman fae has connected herself on every level to do what she values above all else. So the word shaman, there's something about that there. When you find yourself in this part of the garden, your task is clear. You must identify what you value most in the world. The knowledge you seek exists in the value, regardless of any other circumstances. However, that value finds expression, whether through religious or spiritual belief system, family, or through other means. Immerse yourself in it. Connect in every way possible. Create a sacred space. So, yeah, the connection to yourself is what's going to allow you to connect to another, whether you're in a relationship with them or not. Whether you're single and don't even have your eye on someone, you have to go through the High Priestess first. You have to tap into your High Priestess energy first. And if you want to know more about what that is, every single deck's going to have a little different nuance to it, as much as their illustrations a little bit differently nuanced with it. That's why sometimes I'll pull out the book if I'm guided to. So that's what makes this reading really interesting, because I feel like for a lot of you, you're either hung up on an ex that isn't in your best interest right now. See, that's your intuition, tuning into your intuition to know exactly where you're at in your spiritual journey, to connect with yourself first. There's a lot of wisdom in that. And with this double energy, it can be hard because like, if something made us feel good, we're going to want to go back to it and back to it and keep chasing the dragon, so to speak. That doesn't only pertain to like addictions of sorts, but within a love reading, it can pertain to like, toxic relationships, or getting into, let's say you've broken up with all these different partners. Now you have not changed, and now you're seeking a new partner. It's just going to be the same thing until you get right with yourself spiritually. This is one of the most spiritual cards in the deck. That's the connecting factor here. Or it's always going to be like, this kind of reminds me of like a mom nurturing a child. You don't want this parent-child relationship from unhealed wounds of your childhood type thing. You may have already experienced that, which is normal, because that's kind of how we heal those wounds to begin with. But if you're having the same relationship over and over with different people, that's when you know that you're not evolving in the emotional realm. So let the high priestess take you there. All right, real quick, to clarify and provide for, like the insight, additional grand finale type insight here. God, I can't speak anymore. It's really weird. I'm going to grab a fairy wisdom, an oracle card from the fairy wisdom deck, so that we can stick to our fairy. It's fairy day today. Fairy love. Ooh, oh my gosh. Sorry, there's just two of them fell right out to the floor. That's another thing that when it happens like that, I'm like, I gotta take these. I got to take these. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you. Hey, Nicole. I was wondering if you were going to jump on. This reading was so powerful, and I'm like, I totally messed up interpreting it. I'm all in my feels. I got to be authentic, you know what I mean? Not messed up interpreting it, but there's just so much there. And I guess what I'm having a hard time doing is there's lost in translation. There we go. There's a lot lost in translation. You know how powerful these energies could be? Oh, and by the way, we're doing a fairy theme today with the bubbles and then more bubbles for good luck. I don't know why fairies love bubbles, but they do. I love bubbles too. So yeah, it's been a pretty intense love reading. 3 major arcana cards, and yeah, I want to feel like I did justice to this amazing reading that came out. Just unbelievable. And so I wanted to end off with a fairy wisdom oracle card, and 2 of them fell on the floor, which is really interesting. So the first thing I noticed, and usually I pull 1, but the 2 fell out, so I got to take it. First thing I noticed is number 17. 7 plus 1 is 8. And then 6 plus 2 is 8. Okay. Something about 8s. And so I'm going to start with the chocolate brownie fairy. So this is about indulgence. Kind of reminds me of the devil energy, but this is more of a soft one. I think this is like treating yourself, giving yourself a little bit of like the, what is it called? Like, yeah, some sweetness, being sweet to you, giving yourself, some, I guess, nurturing, that you would look for, that you seek from outside of yourself. Just treating yourself, not having to have a reason to do so. I'm going to read from the book too. Then we also have rescued. So now that reminds me of the Lover's card here. So we talked about this as well. So this like rescue energy here between these lovers. it definitely reminds me of that. So I feel like, and the high priestess was a connecting energy, by the way. Just letting Nicole know that. And then chocolate brownie fairy. And then, like, yeah, of course, the devil seems like, okay, that's not the ideal energy to be in. And yeah, sure, it's not. But, it is part of being human. We are in that energy at some point in our journey. My throat chakra just kind of bubbled up on and off. And there's reasons for that. So let's do 62. Start with that one. Let me see. Okay. 62. So the number 8, if you guys see 8s, that's a confirmation. So with this chocolate brownie fairy, the chocolate brownie fairy is all about the sweetness of life. I caught on to that. Allow yourself to fully partake of all the sweetness that life has to offer. Live in the moment. See the joy in all things, from the tiniest butterfly to the beauty of the highest peaks. Laugh as much as you possibly can, especially if it's at yourself. If you have the opportunity to go on an adventure, have your bags packed, ready and waiting. Meet new people, enjoy new interesting things, learn something new each day. Find fun and adventure, and even in the simplest things. Make your life a party. Remember to play, and if you have to work, bring the spirit of play into your workplace. Embrace all of life to the fullest. Rejoice at being on this earth. Be grateful for the experience, and above all, eat more chocolate. Okay, get yourself some chocolate. My heart is light and my spirit sings. I worry myself about no one thing. I'm happy and willing and ready to go. I jump into the stream of life and just go with the flow. So be it. That's definitely a healing energy. All right. And then we'll go to rescued real quick, so that I can hop back on and give you guys your Q&A. Okay. So this is about assistance. I love how we kind of have the echoes of the energy of this, of that tarot reading. Rescued. This is about assistance. If you've drawn this card, you may be in danger of relying too much on other humans. Did we not talk about that? Remember to connect to your own personal inner teacher for guidance. The answers are all inside. See? These oracle cards are confirming our reading, what we were talking about. Also check to make sure that you are not trying to rescue others. They too must follow their own inner truth. This does not mean that you can't receive or give advice, but you should take all advice and check it thoroughly with your inner knowing to make sure that it is for your highest good. Others should do the same with any advice you give them. Things are about to change for the better. Ask for help and receive it with confidence and gratitude. Have peace in the knowledge that all problems come with their own solutions. With the help of the spiritual realms, there is nothing you cannot accomplish or handle. There's our high priestess. There are thousands of beings waiting to serve you at any given time. We talked about that throughout the reading. You guys got your team all the time. This is their joy and their salvation. They live to assist you and keep you from harm, like the elementals, the fairies, right? That's the theme of this reading. It is their job to help you connect with your spirit and highest truth. Okay, sometimes the highest truth isn't the most pleasant, but it is, like they said, salvation. Listen to their messages. These messages come in many forms. A thought or a voice beside your ear. Like I was talking to you guys about the voice in your head, not so much of a voice, but more of like a claircognizant download, right? Opening a book to find the answer, staring back, a message on a billboard, the words of a small child or a friend. Ask and listen. In allowing the helpers to aid you, you can help them manifest their own destiny. So everything works both ways. And like I was saying, the cycles of nature. Thank you for the follow. And thank you all for your energy. I think we only have a few people left here now. But so in this chant, we're going to end with this. In my heart, I know that I'm always safe. I know that heavenly beings are around me. I give thanks to these small beings and I welcome them into my life. They bring peace and comfort and assist me in all that I do. See the look on her face, peace and comfort. What is meant to be will be. It won't always be comfortable. It won't always be easy, but it is the ebb and flow of life. And if you align to it, it will feel right. They bring peace and comfort. They assist me in all I do. They are God's messengers of light. Come to focus on my earthly journey. So be it. So, yep. We got all our confirmation. This is an awesome situation. All right, I'm going to jump off, you guys. And here in a few minutes, I'll be back on to do a live Q&A. All right, see you soon.